in the seat of the world. Our country down the mop, no flexing, no fold. This ain't just a song, it's a story I'm
Under my
telling. From
bones,
the
yeah,
seeds
in
to the
my
fruit,
zone.
every crop's a
Under my
rebellion. This
bones,
ain't
yeah,
rap,
I'm in
ain't
my
country,
zone.
but I'm
Growing
breaking the
big,
mold.
turning dirt
I'm a
to a
country
dream in my
grower, letting the
home.
story
Roots
unfold.
run deep like my hustle and grind. A country grower, crack my run up
Country
to the
down to
moonlight.
my bones, that's all I know. I'm country down to my bones, yeah, I'm in my zone. Growing pigs,
Growing
turning
big,
dirt
turning
to a
dirt
king of my
in my
own.
home.
Roots run deep like my
Like
hustle
my
and
hustle and
grind. I'm a
grind.
country
The
grower, wake up
rover
one
with the
track
one
mind.
time
From the
now.
sun
From the
up to
sun up
the
to the
moonlight glow.
moonlight
I'm country
glow. And
down
from
to
the
my
sun up
bones,
to
that's all
the
I
top
know.
light.
A country
I'm
down to
still
my
down in my
bones, yeah, I'm in
bones.
my
In my
zone. Growing
zone.
pigs,
Growing
turning
big,
dirt
turning
to a
dirt.
kingdom my own. Roots
With
run deep
one
like
big
my
like
hustle
my
and
hustle and
grind. I'm a
grind.
country
Country
grower with a
rover with the
one-track
one
mind.
time
From the
now.
sun
From the
up
sun
to
up
the
to the
moonlight glow.
moonlight
I'm
glow.
country
And
down
from
to
the
my
sun up
bones, that's
to
all
the
I
top
know.
light.
I step out, boots heavy, got the dirt on my
The
jeans, but I'm
dreams that I
planting
can't
dreams, not
dream,
chasing
not
no
taking the
screens.
pain.
Hands rough,
Work,
but the work
but the
so
work so
clean, turning
clean, turn
plots
the
of
slot
land
to
into
work
a
to
food
the food.
machine. Wallace and
Why was the
peaches, I'm
teachers
reaping
I'm
the
reaching the
riches, no
riches, no
shortcuts here,
shortcuts,
just harder
just
and
harder and
digits.
digits.
The grind
The
don't
grind
stop
don't
from the
stop
field
at
of the
the
block. I'm
block by
country,
block.
but I'm
But
bringing
I'm
this
going to
hip hop
hip
knock.
hop
I'm
knock.
country
The
down to
country
my
down to my
bones, yeah, I'm
bones,
in my
my
zone. Growing
zone,
pigs,
going
turning
big,
dirt
turning
to a
dirt
king
to
of
the
my
my
own.
home.
Roots run deep like a
Like
hustle
my
and
hustle and
grind. I'm a
grind.
country
Country
grower with
road
a
with
one
the
track
one
mind.
time
From the
now.
sun up
Turn
to
up
the
to the
moonlight glow.
moonlight
I'm
glow
country
and
down
from
to
the
my
sun of my
bones, that's
front
all
to
I
the
know.
south
Got the
know.
soil on lock,
One
yeah, I'm
rock,
building a
I'm getting the
brand. With a
plan.
shovel and a plan, I'm the king of this
And then the
land. I
land.
plant it, I
Then
grow it,
I
I
go,
flip
I
it, I show it.
I felt
The
it.
grind is
The
my
ground is my
anthem, the
anthem. The
harvest. I
heart,
own
I
it,
own
never
it.
needed
Never
gold
need to
chains,
go.
just
Never
rise
just
in the
watching
breeze. Guava trees and
it.
fig
Big,
leaves,
big,
my
big,
currency's
big,
these. From
big.
the hills of
In the hills of
Tennessee to the
Mississippi,
world
to the
I
world
roam,
I
they
roam,
know
they
I'm
know.
country
The
grower
country
down
going
to
down
my
to my
bones. This is
bones.
hard work, rap, no play.
Get off this song. Two Pups, how you doing today? Extreme Fitness Junkie. Happy Thursday. What's going on, Mike? Yeah, I sent you two of them Violet Day by those and two of them Texas Everbearing. Miss Kelsey, how you doing this afternoon? How y'all doing so far this week? The everyday life of an OCD chick. Nikki, how you doing today? Today we're gonna talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is fruit trees. Fruit trees. This is the time and the season that I love right here. It's going out there doing my pruning, getting everything ready because them buds is already swelling on most of them trees out there. Them peach trees for sure, boy. I pruned them today, and man, if we don't get no late frost, it's looking like we might get a bumper crop this year. What's going on, bro? Yeah, the same thing happened to Mrs. T. One of hers got missing too. The bottom of hers was busted. Yeah, it's the time of the year. You get out there and you're checking trees, getting them ready for the growing season because most of them is getting ready to pop. Mine is usually about the middle of February is when my buds usually start popping. So yeah, I'm Mr. Bammy gardening is great. What's going on? How you doing this afternoon? Appreciate y'all coming. More so in the fall. No, we just got over some snow. I still got some on my back deck. The Bud Files. How you doing this Thursday? In the bushes and sacking my stew ready. Woo! Get some stew. I had pizza. Yeah, I was out there doing some pruning. Been doing pruning for the last couple days. Got up to what 46 and 47 today. So it was pretty nice. Good temperature to get out there and get some last minute pruning done because I still had to do my apples and I still had That's my art. What's going on? I appreciate you coming. Still had to do the apples. Still had to get the step ladder out to get my pear trees. I didn't even really have to get it out. I didn't think about it till after I done got the step ladder out. I got one in pole saw, but one end is got a knife on it. I just pulled the string. So yeah, that gave. I didn't really have to get up on no ladder. So that was a blessing. We still got snow and expecting more. I hope we don't get no more. But it's supposed to be getting back down tomorrow. Look, yesterday was 43, I think. Today was 46. Tomorrow's gonna get up, I think the high is 53 or 52. And then it starts getting back down low after that. It starts getting back down in I think Saturdays in the 40s and Sundays in the 30s and Monday, Martin Luther King's birthday is back down in 20. Oh, Sunday, my older sister's birthday too. The analytic gardener. Thank you for coming in. Listen, I appreciate it. But yeah, this is the time of the year we go out there and we do our pruning, and it is very important to do your pruning. Very, very important. Let's look at it like this. Pruning, it really stimulates growth. You've been able to notice any damage you see on your tree, you can get that out, or you can any eggs or anything like that, you go ahead and get that out. Plus, pruning is a stimulator. Stuff crossing, it causes damage. Good way to keep pest and disease out, especially on your stone fruit. Stone fruit really needs that open center, so to get that airflow in there and that sunlight, so you can get ripened fruit and diseases like leaf curl, brown rot. All that stuff it happens when all that stuff is cluttered in and it don't get that airflow like it's supposed to. Bitter cold, zero, come to Chicago. No, sir. Don't want no part of Chicago. Get cold enough here for me. DJ Ron the mechanic. What's going on, family? And for me, I done tried a few ways to grow apples. And for me, it seems like wellness for Frugal Mom. I appreciate you coming. For me, it seems like the best way is essentially one main reason I think is because it holds more weight with essential living. As long as you do your pruning, your header cuts in the fall, essential leader is going to be about the strongest for me, I think. In my growing experience, it has been. Barb Brownlee, thank you for coming. She said, "How you doing this afternoon? Hope everybody's having a good week. I checked my fruit trees before the deep freeze and snow. It was getting buds and new leaves due to some warm temperature. Yeah, that's another thing. Miss Shirley, that's another thing about these temperatures, how they be fluctuating. It causes our stuff to flower early. And then we get them late frosts, them 2 or 3 late frosts, and boom, kills all our blooms. And then we out of luck to the next year. That's what happened to me with my pear trees this year and a few of my apple trees. Well, last year, a few of my apple trees. Yeah, pruning is critical. Pruning it boosts your fruit production too by rechanneling the energy that was going into growing them branches that you didn't need and water suckers that you didn't need. It rechannels that energy into growing healthier branches and setting more fruit. It improves your structure. It lets sunlight and airflow gets in. Pest control is one of the main reasons. Did you know too? One thing I've been noticing too. Psalms 146. Appreciate you coming. LGG love. Thank y'all for coming. How y'all doing this week? How y'all Thursday going? Y'all excited for this new growing season that's going to come on? I know I am. I think it's going to be an epic year for fruit trees. I don't know why. I just feel it in my bone. Just going out there pruning. I got a lot of fruit sets on my trees, fruit buds on my trees. As far as my peaches, my pears, and my apples, a lot. So I'm hoping these late frosts don't wipe me out this year. That's why I'm trying to do everything necessary possible that I can do to prevent any issues that come up now. Any issues I can take care of now that it might come up later. Your crossing branches is another big problem that we have. If you let branches rub, it causes wounds, and it's an easy way to let pests and diseases get into your tree. Your fruit trees is like an investment. It's like money in the bank. It's like money in the bank. You got fruit trees. It might take you 2-3 years before you start getting good apples, good sets of fruit. But once you start getting them, man, that's money in the bank. You'll be putting up more food than what your family can actually deal with. Pruning my grapevine, plan for the finally do something. How long have you had it, and what kind is it? Yeah, I'm still moving this year. It's gonna be spring or midsummer. You try to register for Soul Family Fest to buy me some of them cuttings. I'm ready to drive to Atlanta. I know you go down there. It's Savannah citrus. They got all kind of citrus down there. I'm telling you, you see all them trees, you gonna come back with some citrus. That's a good thing about going to different locations, because you'll find stuff that you don't see in your local area. Some things might not be meant for your area. That's why they probably don't sell them in your area. But if growing is your passion and it's something that you enjoy doing, why not take that chance, man? You only live once. Even if you got a nursery, keep it in the house, keep it pruned, keep the roots pruned. Yeah, it sounds like some work, but when you taste that fruit, man, it's gonna change your world. It's gonna change your world. Don't get me excited. Man, I went down there, Devora, thanks for coming. I went down there, I come back with a Mexican cream guava, 2 loquats, Barbados cherry, Moore's blood orange. That's all I got. Oh, I got some turmeric and some ginger too. 2 years, I have 3 different types. I don't remember what type. They got a lot of leaves and branches, but no grapes. That's one thing about grapes too. You know, grapes, they only form on new growth. Lucy Ward's World, thank you for coming. Like I seen you here before. I appreciate you coming back. You know, grapes, they only form on new growth. I always cut my grapes back. I keep a finger width. I'll say about how big is my finger? About that far away from each note, and then I cut each note back to 2 nodes. I prune mine every year after I harvest them, and after that first frost hit them, I prune them grapes. I go and get them cleaned up and ready, because they grow like crazy too. And there's something else. When you gotta think of stuff like this, your fruit trees, they put down new roots when they go dormant, and your grapevines, whatever. When they go dormant, when they lose all their leaves, they focusing on root growth. And that root growth, how much root growth that they form over that dormant season is all the growth you're gonna get that year. So if you got dead stuff on there, still trying to push that energy to that dead stuff, you're only gonna get that length of growth that was in there. As you do your pruning, that's a lot more roots that was already on there that has to focus that energy on producing fruit buds or set new branches or whatever. So it's so good to do your pruning. You watch my video on pruning? Yeah. That's where I always prune mine. See, I grow mine on a single wire, sometimes 2 wire. Some people grow them up, up, whatever you call them, gazebos and all that stuff. I mean, that might be a different type of pruning. Trying to bring my daughter again. I like the Saturday program. It's fun down there in Georgia. I had fun. Found a lot of trees, and so far, most of them doing pretty good in the house. And the 2 loquats in the ground, They take a little damage, but so far they hanging in there like a champ. You know, I had them before though. I had a champagne and a what I have. I got a champagne now. I had a champagne and a golden nugget back then. One lived 2 or 3 years, and the other one only lived 2. And pruning is a very necessary step if you want to grow trees. And yeah, it ain't even got to be. You can let them get tall as you want to, but if you do, that's just more climbing on the ladder you got to do to actually prune them down and keep them taken care of, so you don't have to worry about diseases and stuff. Because more we go leave stuff unpruned, the more diseases cause. Less fruit sets you get as older woods. So it's like peaches, they grow on the second year wood. They grow on second year wood. And you can notice peaches and most stone fruits because that new wood that grew last year is reddish. Grapes gonna grow on first year. Whatever comes out that year, it's what the grapes gonna form on. It don't form on old wood from last year. It won't form on that wood. Just one, Elliot. Thanks for coming. And when you do prune, I know I do a little summer pruning. My summer pruning just mainly is the big. You notice how the water sprouts start shooting straight up in big long ones, and stuff that's in the middle or stuff that's dead. In the summertime, I don't cut no more than maybe 5 to 10%. In a fall time, that's when I do maybe 20 to 25%. Figs about 15 to 20%, but you can cut figs 50% back, and they as long as the root structure is pretty healthy, it's been growing for a couple of years, and you just want to change the structure of it, you can cut that back about 40% without taking that much damage. If you over prune stuff, it does cause some problems, some issues, is because it starts struggling. So when something is struggling, it starts being easy for diseases and stuff to come like that to get into your trees. Come on, man. You killing me with that bone. That's every time I get on live, you go crazy with the bone. And you always gotta be up on it. And also another thing we just watch out for is cutting too close to the collar. If you cut too close to, if you want to take a whole branch off, take it back to that last collar. Don't really cut into that collar because that does open up a lot of area for disease, and they love going through that collar to get to your tree. I have 4 grapevines, 3 Concord grapes, and 1 muscadine. For me, that's something else when we buying that's one thing else when we buying fruit trees and grapevines and stuff like that. Know what type of diseases that you get in your area for that certain type of tree that you want to get. Because 9 times out of 10 they make varieties that's immune to certain diseases, and it might be a disease in your area that's prone to. So you can head that off by buying something that's that's resistant to that. Like peach trees here for me is leaf curl and brown rot. So I try to get varieties that's resistant to that, which is Georgia peach, Alberta, and Red Haven. Grapevines, I have a problem here with black rot. Concord grapes they get black rot. And I had one, two, three old Concord grapevines I've had for the last 7 years. Never really got that good production off of them because they always got black rot, and most of them fell off before it was well time for them to get ready. I got a blue Concord and Carlos muscadine and Niagara grapes now, and they're more resistant to that black rot. So, this little tips. I have fungus growing on my plum trees. It's in destroying and killing my tree. It looks like a dog pooped on the branches. Mm. You can try copper fungicide if you want to try some chemicals like that, or you can just try peroxide and baking soda. I have to burn out those branches because it spreads. Huh. I would try to treat it first, especially if it's a lot. I would try to treat it first. As far as apple trees, we get cedar rust because we got a lot of cedar trees around here in Tennessee. A lot of cedar trees, so we get cedar rust. They got varieties that are resistant to it, but I bought a young Fuji apple this year. It got cedar rust on it. My Arkansas Black is resistant to it. I don't see that much damage on it. Red Delicious is not really supposed to be resistant to it, but my Red Delicious by far do the better out of all of my apples to that cedar rust. And one thing I do notice about that too, when it does start getting it, I just pull the branches. I just pull them leaves off. Pull them leaves off and burn them. When the new growth come back out, they're usually fine. They usually don't have it on it. Just give it a little time for that cedar rust spurs to get by. They're usually fine. My Honeycrisp got smacked last year with the rust. Yeah, my Honeycrisp is very resistant to it too. My Honeycrisp gets it too. Even my pear trees gets it. How do you treat cedar rust? I mean, you can try to treat it just with the copper fungicide and stuff like that, which I do that, but it does no good. It does no good. It don't stop it or nothing. So I mean, it's just kind of a waste, but I still do it just to say I'm trying. I'm trying to help my babies. But like I said, once I pull them leaves off and new growth come back out, it's usually fine. Sometimes we overthink stuff. We get worried and we really do more harm than good while we're trying to spray all this stuff on it and trying to combat this, combat that. But most of the time, it's nature. It's just like us. We're living beings. We want to live, so we're gonna do whatever we can to survive. So they do pretty much do the same thing. My plants get diseases. I just drop new seeds. A tree will break my heart. They gonna recover. They gonna recover. As long as they some bad stuff. I even seen people that get fire blight and didn't even cut the stuff off and it started pushing out new growth. So I mean, they living beings like we are. I mean, everything wants to survive. As long as you give it a fighting chance, it'll survive. I had a Granny Smith apple tree here for like 7, 8 years. Gave us apples from about the second year we had it. They didn't get big. They got about this size. They always had black spots on them. Black spots. Wash them off. They fine. Make perfect fried apples out of them or apple pies or whatever. Still delicious. I appreciate it just one, Ellen. It's still delicious. It was still delicious. Sometimes it's just cosmetic. We think stuff's supposed to be the way it looks in a supermarket. And if you they don't grow it in the same conditions we do. They don't use the same material we use to treat our stuff. And we wouldn't want to use that stuff anyway, because I mean, we see what happened to everybody else that uses it. It's really not good for our bodies. Our bodies can't break down a lot of that stuff that they use to put on this food. And I know most people's like, I just wash it. I just wash it off. I just wash it off. It don't matter how much you wash it off. It's already inside the fruit, the vegetable, or whatever. It's already inside there. It's no way you're going to get it out. It's already inside it. So you're just going to have to eat it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I just have to prune my trees to the shape that I can care for them from the ground level. Yeah, and it's different ways you can grow trees. Esparlay, can't really pronounce it. You can grow like that. I've seen people grow them on lines just like you do grapevines, like 2 or 3 lines. I mean, you just keep them pruned down the bud. You let them grow for so long. You do a header cut on it, and then you just spurs that comes up. You just keep them cuffs. I think people grow food. People will find a way to grow food. I got stuff grown so close together here. He's like, man, you ain't gonna never get. I get plenty of food. It's all about the way you care for it. If you keep it, if you got it close together, I mean, you just gotta do a lot more pruning. Yeah, it's just little things that we can do. It's a good time of the year. We all looking forward to seeing them fresh blooms pop on them peach trees, apple trees, plum trees, pear trees. Yeah, the new grapevines start to pop. Them blueberries starting to pop. It's an exciting time of the year. Winter can be depressing for a lot because you inside. It's cold. It's so cold you can barely get outside. It can be depressing, but you have to look at winter like it's a reset. It's a reset button. It's like you just hitting the reset button. It's time for you to plan for that next year. Design. You see what didn't work do good for you the year before, so you plan for what's going to be better for the next year. If you want stuff planted in different space, when it's the best time to do it. If you want to move a tree, when it's the best time to do it. You can dig it up, go ahead and move it, get it back in the ground, and then get ready for it to start growing in the spring. When it can be depressing. There's also a time, it's like if you're an inside gardener, you got plenty of times to be in there doing your hydroponics. You got time to take your cuttings and try to root you some cuttings. Like now, I got like 60 feed cuttings I'm rooting right now. Do you prune blueberries and blackberry bushes? I prune my blueberry bushes. Blackberries, I will tip them back after they get so long. They get so long they're trying to hang over to the ground. And if you let blackberry hit the ground, it's gonna root right there. Are you staying in Tennessee when you move? Yeah, I'm staying in Tennessee. I'm staying in Tennessee. I wrote down a lot of. Well, I'll take notes on that. I got at least 4 trees I got to move. I'm kind of worried about moving some of my stuff. Some of my stuff is huge, humongous. But I'm 7B, 7B/7A. Let's talk about some of the pruning cuts that we do. Thinning cut, thinning cut. Anybody know what a thinning cut is? And what's the purpose of the thinning cut? Tamika Davis, thanks for coming. Getting a couple more raised beds. I'm getting one more, and I'm also got some wood, and I'm building potato boxes. That's what I'm gonna grow my potatoes in this year. It's not gonna really be it's gonna be a 2-section box that I'm building. One section I'm gonna have regular white potatoes in. The other section I want to have like sweet potatoes in. I'm doing that so I don't have to dedicate most of a whole bed, raised bed, to growing potatoes and having to dig down so deep. I'll get these potato boxes built up so high, and most of that soil is gonna be loose and fluffy, so I don't have to worry about that compact soil. And hopefully, I can get a lot more potatoes, which I do pretty good with sweet potatoes. The last couple of years, white potatoes ain't really did too good for me. Zone 7 seems like the perfect. It would be if I could put citrus in the ground without them dying. It would be perfect. And these little occasionally snows and stuff. I mean, we got worse than snows when I was younger. We don't get nowhere near the snow we did when I was younger. I remember sitting at the bus stop waiting on the bus, and we got 2 feet of snow. Bus still running. And I remember times school was still open, but the bus didn't run. The bus didn't run, and we all walked to school together. But now it seems like they call our school for anything, which my generation and the generation after us, we pretty much don't got them same driving skills that the older ones had because they drove in it all the time. Most people now don't, and the cars ain't built the way they used to be built. Not as heavy, a lot more lighter, easier to slide. Yeah, thinning cut is removing the old limbs, removing your old limbs, or if you want to cut a whole branch off, that's a thinning cut. Anybody know what a heading cut is? Yeah, we did. We literally walked forever when we was kids. We would walk anywhere. It's it's not like that no more. And we walking to school from the projects, and we walk. I know about good 7 miles to elementary school when it was snowing. We did it plenty of times. Maybe when in middle school, it was probably about 4 miles from the project. We had shortcuts and stuff we can go. Tennessee humidity though. I was married there, like breathing hot sauce. Yeah, it does get the humidity is be rough sometimes, but you know what? I love that heat of the summer. Man, I could be out there sweating like in church, but I'll still be out there doing something. But the cold, I can't too much take it no more. I used to be out there all the time when it was cold, like doing hunting and stuff like that. But now this got where it hit different once you get older. It hits a lot different. You don't know about hitting cut? Hitting cut is where you tipping a branch. It's instead of cutting it all the way off, is where you tip it, or you cut that branch at a certain angle down, so it stop from hitting another branch, or you want to tip it back so it don't grow so long, or if it's growing in the wrong direction, you want to tip it back. You cut that tip off. But them really the only two main pruning techniques that we usually do is thinning cuts and hitting cuts. You do a rejuvenating pruning, and that's when you take 1/4 of the old dead unproductive wood off. Most of our pruning is done in the fall or the winter, the end of winter, before the buds pop. And I do a light summer pruning. I usually take maybe about 5 to 10% off, and that's just growth that's growing upward, like water sprouts, or stuff that's dead, or something that's just growing inward towards the center of the tree. And that's on all the trees because it's hard to get in the center of the tree to harvest a pear or apple when you got branches as well. Because pears, they like growing straight up. I don't care how you prune a pear, it still wants to grow straight up. Now, apples, you can prune that where it's just a straight stick, and then you got your lateral branches coming off. That's called a central leader. Stone fruits, they like more airflow, so they won't get that brown rot and stuff. So we use open center for them, or vase shape, however you want to say it. I call it open center because when you're cutting out that central leader, and then you're just picking 4 or 5 scaffolding branches, then you start growing off of that. Then about Homestead or Rachel, how you doing this evening? Them is about the only two shapes I really prune. The only two things I really prune for a shape is my stone fruit and my apples. The pears, they're gonna grow straight up. I try to grow them on a central leader, but they're gonna do what they want to do. They grow so much, and all they're gonna do is go straight up. You keep pruning. You pruning off a lot of your fruit buds. So I let them grow straight. I tip them back so they try to go out at an angle. That's about all you can do for the pear. But the pear gonna do what it wants to do. Plum tree, I pretty much just let them go too. Most of the time I try to get them to grow as a central leader too. I pretty much let them go. Sweet Bree, how you doing? My fig trees now. I usually they usually die back. So I let all that new growth come up. I'll pick 4 or 5 strong ones that I want to keep. The rest of them I cut off and I'll try to root. And for me, in the summertime, rooting the green new growth seems to go a lot quicker and a lot faster for me. And I root them in a strange way. I don't root like I do the ones I do in the wintertime. In the springtime, I'll take that new growth that I'm cutting off and I'll stick it in my containers with my container trees. And I'm always watering them, and it's the canopy of my container trees is shielded from that extreme heat because they be outside. So they tend to root a lot faster, and I used to have more success with that than I do when I do them in the wintertime. Hands in the dirt. How you doing, Sue Miller? How you doing, Miss Sue? And I will do my last spray probably the end of this month. I hit them with that last spray. And I might go around with my apple trees and my pear trees and hit them with some copper fungicide right before the first rain, when the buds right before they pop. It usually don't really do no good though because man, we got so many cedar trees around here. That cedar rust tears my trees up. What I said though, I pull them leaves off and they usually come back. The new growth usually come back as fine. I usually wait till after I see it get it. I usually wait a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks, then I pull them off and they're usually fine after that. They usually bounce back in perfect growth. Hope this below freezing doesn't kill my trees. What kind of trees you got? Yeah, an apple and pear trees. They usually produce fruit on the second and third year spurs too. Peach trees is second year, and you can tell a peach tree or stone fruit. You can tell by the red that was growth from the year before. That red growth that means that's growth from the year before. I wish I had some. I should have took time and got some pictures of some fruit. Took some pictures of some fruit buds and bring it up on here so I can show y'all what apple fruit buds looks like and what pear fruit buds look like. I'll try to get that done tomorrow if I can, if it ain't raining. And then I'll try to do another last Saturday or Sunday one just to show some people that don't know what the fruit buds actually look like. So you'll know what you're looking at so you don't cut it off. Because I know I've cut a lot of fruit buds off before, not knowing what I was doing. Y'all will hear me say about my figs. I let them grow so tall, and then I pinch them back. I pinch that tip off of them. When I'm pinching that tip off, it causes it to do 2 things. It causes it to redirect that energy back down to them lower buds, which is gonna cause it to shoot out lateral branches, and it causes to start producing some figs lower down that branch because it's redirecting that energy. What is the stone fruit that I keep hearing about? Stone fruit is stuff like it. peach trees, apricots. I think cherry trees is even in the stone fruit family, if I'm not mistaken. That's what the stone fruits are. Plum trees. That's gonna be your stone fruit. I don't know if plum is in that category or not. It's like peaches and apricots. Yeah, you know that they need them chill hours. Yeah, you pinch your figs to make them fruit. Yeah, when you pinching them figs, you know it gets a certain time of the season too, and your tree ain't start producing. You pinch that growing tip. It's gonna start making it shoot out lateral branches, or it's gonna start making it shoot figs off down there through that lower branch. One of the two. Well, probably both of them. How many fig trees do you have? I think I have 26 varieties of figs now. You want a cherry tree next? I got all kind of different cherry trees. You know, they got some sour cherries. They got sweet cherries. Your sweet cherries would be like your bean cherry, Stella cherry, your Lapis cherry. Them is all sweet cherries. You know, they got cherry bushes too. Was it Romeo cherry bush? They got a Juliet cherry. They got the Nat King cherries. Them all kind of like, I guess they more like sour cherry. I like them. The Mongolian cherry, I don't know if that's a sweet cherry or a sour cherry either. You don't know about pinching fig tips. It's just that growing tip. That growing tip right there at the top of that bud, that tree. Pinch that little thing off, and it's gonna start making it reproduce. Send that energy back down that chute to the Texas Ghost Hill fig. No, I never even heard of that. I got the Texas Everbearing, and then I've seen a Texas Blue Giant, but I seen seeds for that and cuttings that I was thinking about getting off of Esse's. I passed the Lord's Garden. Thank you for coming. I purchased the Lampins cherry as a 2-in-1. It had a bean on one side and it had a Lampins cherry on the other. The, the bean cherry side never came to life. The Lampins cherry is growing great. It actually flowered last year the first time, but it didn't hold them. And I got a bean cherry the year before, and they still small. I had to do a lot of pruning on that. I mentioned it 3 or 4 times before. I had a lot of damage on my trees that I had to cut off, and I don't know where those caused from. The way they was gnawing, it looked like it was gnawing on it. So it either had to be a squirrel or something. Only thing I could think it could be. I never seen it before, and I don't know how it could have been a squirrel because it was on some of my container trees too. Looked like they would have had a lot of broken branches for it was a squirrel running up in it. I don't know what it was. What else could have been? I have a bean cherry too. Hopefully, I get some growth from it this season. That's what I'm hoping. I had two of them. One of mine RIP. Just ordered a Texas Everbearing a couple of days ago. And this is what third Texas Everbearing I had. Something the last two they got dug up over the wintertime by something. I think it was mice because I used straw. I always use straw to try to insulate that root. You know, straw is good. It draws mice and stuff in the wintertime they try to bed down in that straw. So I'm thinking they dug him up and ate the roots on them. One of them, the only ones I ever had problems with something digging up and eating the roots on was them Texas Evergreen. This year I put bricks around it. So far so good. Still looking pretty good. I ain't seen nothing digging around it. Pruning also, you know, it helps with fruit quality. Because if you got a branch, it's got 50, it's got 50 fruits on it. Then you got this branch over here that's only got 10 on it. Which ones you think gonna get the most energy and the most nutrients? And 9 times out of 10, this one got 50 on it, it's gonna break. If you were to prune that back some, all that it wouldn't have got that many on that branch, but then the ones on that it did produce were got bigger, more nutrients, and a lot more sweeter. That's why you think even big commercial farmers do pruning. They prune every year religiously. They prune off a lot too. I know forever the first three fruit trees I had was that Granny Smith apple and them two peach trees. I never pruned them. I always got brown rot on my peach trees, and the branches always broke when they got a load of peaches on them. Always broke. I'm trying to calm down, son. Sit your butt down. I always sit out there trying to prop the branches up and stuff instead of doing what I was supposed to been doing in the fall time, which was pruning them, and I wouldn't have that problem. All my fig trees died. I still want two more. They died. What about pine flakes or shaving? Is that okay to use around it? Now I use cedar shavings. I've used cedar shavings around my strawberries, and for me, just for me, it's what worked for me. I tried straw around my strawberries, and I always had problems with slugs. Slugs always tore my strawberries up. But when I started using cedar shavings, it knocked out about 80% of that slug problem. I don't know if it was the smell of the cedar or how sharp they was because of the cedar shavings I was using was like for pet bedding. What they get for you use for pet bedding. And they kind of look like a little sharper. And it seemed to work a lot. I put it up under the beginning of the season before they start producing. Once they start flowering, I go around my strawberries with that cedar shavings, lay them on pretty thick, pretty heavy. But I do got June bearing strawberries. They produce a lot, and then they stop. But if you got enough plants, you can get pounds off of that. You wouldn't want no. I had everbearings before too. Everbearings, they kept producing, but I got nowhere as many strawberries as we get with the June bearing, and the quality wasn't as good as the June bearings until the everbearings got into like their fourth year. You have your figs in container, or was they in the ground? And they might not be dead. No figs. They known for dying all the way back and then coming back from the ground, from the roots. So I know the first year I had that I have two. The first year I purchased two figs. Yeah, I think no, I just purchased one the first year, and that was the Olympian. The Olympian fig is the oldest fig I got, and it died all the way back to the ground. And then when everything else was waking up and stuff, I didn't see no sign of growth, and I was like, "Man, this thing dead." I thought they said it would make it in my zone. I was upset, and then gave it about another week. They started growing. It started shooting up. So start coming back from the ground. Grew back real slow the first couple of years. Then after that, it started dying back. It started growing a lot faster. The branches start coming up a lot faster. Start producing a lot faster. Because then first couple of years when it died back, it started producing late in December. It started shooting out figs. I mean, not December, but November. It will start shooting out figs. Now, if they die back, it's probably, let's see, this year when did they start? I seen the first fig. I think it was May. They started shooting them out in May. And I can see, I don't think the Desert King, I have that one. I think it's got to have the fruit, well, the wasp to pollinate it. We don't have that around here. So I don't think I'll ever be able to get main crop off of that. I'll probably just be able to get the braver if it don't die back. If it doesn't die back, maybe I'll get some braver crop that will actually ripen. Because all of the ones that come on the main crop from the new growth from last year, all of them didn't didn't get pollinated, so they all fell off. I picked it up. The branches come right out the ground with ease. That's the branches. Yeah, them was probably dead back, but it might come back from the roots. I was in the container. I gotta go get Tom and water tonight. I appreciate you coming. Yeah, pigs, they'll fool you. They'll die all the way back to the ground. You won't see a nub or nothing. And all of a sudden they start shooting back up. And sometimes they just leave a little nub at the bottom. That's the only thing that's still alive. And you start showing sprouts coming off of them buds. And I think grapes it's necessary to be pruned every year too. I know I pruned mine back. When I didn't, I didn't really see no grapes at all. When I really started doing research and realizing they only produce grapes on the new growth, that changed a lot. I started pruning stuff off, wouldn't leaving stuff getting so long that it was just going everywhere. Because grapes will grow like crazy. Grapes will grow like crazy. I prune mine back real heavy every year. And every year they outgrow the lines. Every year I have to hit them back in the summertime. I would try it again. Yeah, don't give up. Just keep trying. And like I said, they might not be gone. Don't give up on them yet. Do I need to scratch the bark when I'm rooting the odor? You can. You can. I do it either way. I scratch sometimes I don't. Like now I'm doing it two different type of ways. I got some just in water that I didn't scratch, and I got some in sand inside a tote with a lid over top. And seem like the ones in sand to me roots a lot faster than the ones in water. Them two methods to me too seems a lot better than trying to root them in soil actually, because you don't get it. They don't rot as fast, and you don't see that. Sometimes you keep them too moist, they get fungus and stuff on them. Or I don't see that too much when I'm doing it in the sand or the water. It seemed to do a lot better in sand. I don't know. I guess because that sand it holds that heat in. It holds that heat in, so it seems like it gets it going a lot faster than water to me. It seems to work a lot better. Both of them methods seem to work a lot better than just rooting it in soil. That's why I was thinking they probably do good in your hydroponic system. You put one off in there, they probably do great. So they get a certain size and get them roots get to growing so long. You got to take them out because figs are ferocious growers. Ferocious. They will grow, grow, grow. If you put a fig in the ground, wait about 2 years and try to dig it up and see how big your roots are. Even in the container. Most of the time when your fig in the container it starts struggling, look, pick it up and look at the bottom. It might be already root bound and it's starting to bust out the bottom. Because figs grow like crazy. Another thing I found about the Barbados cherry and my guava, they grow the same way. They grow like crazy. So I'm constantly in the summertime and the first of spring, all my container trees, they get fresh soil. I'll cut them back. I'll cut the roots back. I put fresh soil in it. And most of the time I have to do it again before fall. Because they start, and you'll notice if they're getting root bound because they'll dry out a lot faster than a tree that's not root bound. I can set my I can water my Moore's blood orange and my guavas at the same time. Well, a day down the line or a day and a half down the line, the Moore's blood orange is still pretty much good. Where that guava, I had to water that the day before because it's dried out because it's root bound because they grow so fast. They grow so fast. The same way with figs. Figs do the same thing. They grow fast. They ferocious growers. It's like growing what I eat. What's going on, bro? Been listening to all this tree fruit talk. I had to say something. Yeah, man. Fruit trees. That's my passion. I love fruit trees. I love talking about them. I love learning about them. I love pruning them. I love eating them. I love trying to everything about them. I love trying to root them. I love trying to propagate them. I love trying to. I'm just now getting into grafting. I'm gonna try that a lot more. So I want to make me some Frankenstein trees, especially citrus. I want to make me some Frankenstein citrus trees. I tried last year. I tried to make one with a brown celeste, with the Morris blood orange, kumquats, the Nagami and Miwa kumquat. I try to put all that on one tree. They get no takers though, so I'm gonna try again this year. Practice make perfect. Ain't nothing but branches I was gonna prune off anyway. So hey, they taking they work. That'd be awesome. I've tried it even because I got one Granny Smith apple tree that's way up here in the back. Don't get much sun or nothing. It's been up there for maybe 14 years now. Supposed to be a dwarf Granny Smith apple. That thing has never flowered once. Never flowered once. I've been trying to graft on that. So far, it has not took. But the partner that we cut down from the second year we had it produced apples up until we cut it down and got rid of it. Not looking forward to this Arctic blast again next week. Me either. If my trees make it, I'll have to show all y'all my new addition if they make it. My most of my figs that I didn't cut back. I don't know if I spoke to you or not, but appreciate you coming, Bob Brown. Most of my figs that I didn't cut back, cause man, what you saying? Hush, you paranoid, man. Ain't nobody out there that I didn't cut back because I was experimenting. I cut some back, and the rest I was gonna leave and see if they were actually fruit from where they wouldn't die back. And that was looking good until we started getting all this snow. But when it wasn't really the snow, the temperatures we were getting down in the 14s and 18s and 10 degrees, stuff like this. And then the highs only in the 20s. It's not even getting the blood freezing throughout the day for days on end. So I think some of the tips of my figs died back. My citrus is in my kitchen, both of them, all in my. Sorry about that. My citrus are in my kitchen, both of them all in my way. Yeah, yeah. You probably need another apple tree near it. My pear tree did the same thing until I got another pear tree. But they is where all my apples are. It's probably like 20 foot away from it. It's about 20 foot away from where all the other apples are. I planted it there because I planted the standard Granny Smith apple tree maybe about 50 foot away, and the other and I planted that one up there, and it never did nothing, never. But the other Granny Smith apple tree, she flowered and produced fruit every year, and I didn't have nothing but that tree and that little dwarf Granny Smith apple tree. Only two apple trees I had. And I noticed this too, because when I first just got my Mongolian or moon glow pear, however you want to say it, I just had one of them, and it flowered and fruited that first year that I had it. And I noticed it wasn't no other pear trees around, but the neighbors over there, they had some Bartlett pear. That Bartlett pear pollinated that Mongolian pear. Only thing I can think of, because there were no other pear trees in this region, and I don't think they self pollinate. And as heavy as it fruited, I don't think. If someone to self pollinate, they'll fruit, but they won't fruit as heavy as it would if you got two varieties there. Yeah, but I do just like get it off the chest. I still got a link pinned to the top of the chat. If anybody got anything they want to add in on the conversation, you're more than welcome to come up We've been on here an hour now, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming out and spending some time with me. So we talk about something that I enjoy: peach trees, apple trees, fig trees, pear trees, plum trees, cherry trees, you name it. I love my trees. Growing vegetables is all good and exciting. I enjoy it, but it's not my passion. It's not what I look forward into going outside preparing my soil for. It's not what I look forward to when I'm looking online to purchase something. I'm not looking to really find seeds. I can go to the dollar store or Wally World or Lowe's or whatever to get seeds. I want to try to find me some trees when I get on vacation. That's the only reason why I do go on vacation anyway, to find me some fruit trees that I can't find in my zone. I don't care nothing about going to sit on no beach and no hot sun. No, sir. If I want to be in the hot sun, I can be here at my house, out there in my garden doing something useful. I don't care nothing about going sitting on no beach. If I go to Florida, I want to go somewhere where I can find me some fruit trees that I can't find here. What is a good cherry tree I'm growing in zone 8B, Georgia? That's hands in the dirt area right there. Hands, what kind of good what's a good cherry tree to grow in down there in Georgia? Him growing what I eat. Ain't too far from here, so I'm pretty sure what the Lampin cherry, and if you want a sweet cherry, the Lampin cherry or the Stella cherry. I know Broke, he's in Georgia, he's got a Stella cherry. And the bean cherry. Like fruit trees and herbs. It's a good thing, it's a good combination too. And they grow well together. I always encourage people to grow stuff underneath their fruit trees. That's unutilized space right there. You can put strawberries under there. You can put some chives under there. Uh, Oregano. That's ground cover. It's just more. It's not gonna hurt that tree. I got all herbs growing all up under my trees. Got chives. Sage usually only lasts a couple years. After the second year, usually don't never come back. Rosemary, most of the time it dies. Most of the time it dies in the wintertime. I usually have to replant it. Oregano never dies. Thyme, I've had thyme plants. They usually last about 5 or 6 years, and I have to resow some of them. Barbados cherry does well. You know, Barbados cherry is one that I didn't know to get to be 25 foot tall, 25 foot around. I did not know that. And I got mine in the container. That's why that thing grows so fast. What, I don't know, probably 3 times since I had it, and I got it last April. Yeah, 3 times since I had it, and I got it last April. And it needs to be repotted now because it's root bound like crazy because I'm having to water it every day, and it's in the house, and it's the wintertime. My kitchen, I took them all outside the the week before when it was warm for 2 or 3 days. So now I got all three of the guavas in the kitchen, the Moore's Blood Orange, the Brown Select Satsuma, and my kumquats. They all in the kitchen. And I got my Myers Lemon and that Barbados Cherry in the bedroom. Sounds like fun to me. You got a Barbados Cherry in the container sitting in the garage. Mine's in here in the window, in the bedroom window. You know, it's flower like crazy, but it's nothing in the house to pollinate, so they just fell off. Yeah, they grow like crazy. Got to repot mine. When it warms up, she looks kind of rough out. Yeah. Mine's starting to drop leaves down. I think it's where, because it was so warm and all that heat was coming through that window. And then for the last week or so, it's been cold and it ain't been no sun really shining like that. So I ain't got them up under no light or nothing like that. So they started, some of the leaves don't start dropping off of them. My guavas, the leaves drop off of them every year, but they regrow. As soon as one drop off, 2 or 3 regrow back. So they fine. They get some fresh soil, some new compost, and some organic fertilizer in the fall. I mean, in the spring, beginning of the spring, we sit outside, water them up. You know, something else I've been thinking about doing. Y'all seen how growing out the box? You see how he uses that, how he built in blueberries. I was thinking about doing something like that because the height, digging it down some and filling that up with fresh soil and start in the springtime putting my container trees off inside of them and letting them spend the spring there, and then maybe about a month before the fall, repotting them, put them back in containers, either put them in the greenhouse or bring them in the house. I was surprised. It's just easier. It's really just for easier way for me to water them. I don't have to keep going around to each container watering them or trying to set up the drip to each one of them. I can just water them all at one time. That's what I was thinking about doing. And I was surprised too, because even that little one, I got one that's like maybe like a foot tall that I got from J3. And it's in the ground ever since I got it home in April. And it's doing great. It's doing great. I don't even see that no burnt leaves on them. The bigger one, that champagne, and I see 5 or 6 burnt leaves on that one. But that little one, I don't see none. It's looking perky and beautiful. A lot of my little fig cuttings that I put around over the last couple of years, you know, last year they died back, the year before they died back. This year they ain't buying back too much. And it's been cold. But they ain't dying back too much this year. So maybe this year will be the year for me to get a lot of braver crop. It would be nice. Now I think maybe my golden plum, maybe it's gone. I think one of my gooseberries done died on me too. So I'm gonna have to replace them. The gooseberries delicious. Still hadn't found a goomy berry yet. I've seen some cuttings. I don't know how easy it is to root the cuttings, but the actually bush that I've been seeing, that's actually a good size, it's hiding dog crap. And I ain't trying to spend that much money on no bush. I might have to just go with the cuttings. Oh, sugarcane jujubes, backyard garden flow. Happy Thursday. How you doing? Sugarcane jujubes. I have what, 4 of those. When I say them things grow fast, they grow fast. I got this thing as a cuttings. I got like 6 cuttings in 2023, the end of 2023. Had them rooted. I appreciate you coming, Hans. Had them rooted within a couple. They root really good too. They pretty easy to root, just like a fig tree. I From cuttings, what I think is very easy to root will be your figs. Grapes is easy to root from cuttings. Guavas are easy to root from cuttings. Well, the pink guava and the white guava is easy to root from cuttings. The Mexican cream, I hadn't had no success rooting them from cuttings yet. And the sugarcane jujubes, and they root pretty good. I made fire cider can, or should I put the squeeze out scraps in the compost? Yeah, you can put that in the compost. Sure can. You know, most people don't recommend you to put meat in your compost. I don't bring meat from in the house or nothing like that, but if something gets unalived or something found unalive, that's going deep in the compost pile. Or it's going in a hole where I just planted some fruit trees. Been doing a lot of research on using fermenting my own fish heads and the the benefits of using buried fish heads around your fruit trees and stuff. And man, it's a lot of good benefits to actually doing that. It's a whole lot better than the 511 that we buy because you're doing it yourself and it's coming straight from the lake. But you know, I always said you can go down to a lake or a creek and just dump that water out, and it's just about the same as 511. I mean, you got fish poop in it, fish dye in it, and you got all the nutrients that you want, and it's just free. I had an Alberta peach tree that had a handful of peaches in 2023, and in 2024 had some buds, but frost came. Yeah, what happened to mine? The frost knocked them out. Some green on the trunk, so I pulled from the container and planted. Have I lost it? No peaches. Some green on the trunk. I pulled it from a container and planted it. I have a lot. Oh, I doubt it. You still got green on it. Oh, it's still alive. You might have lost some of that top growth. Good night, Miss Shirley. You might have lost some of that top growth. You might have to prune back and restart over, restart building the structure. But peaches are pretty resilient. You know, as long as the trunk is green above the grass. If not, then if it comes back from underneath the grass, it's some other variety that you didn't purchase. Most stuff is grafted these days. They take cuttings off of big trees and they graft them onto some rootstock of some variety that most people don't like. Same thing with my persimmon tree. I hadn't had the Fuji persimmon. I don't have good luck with them. It's the third one I had. I hope that it ain't died because they usually die in the wintertime for some reason. They don't come back. And that's the most expensive tree I bought. Both of them was over $50. I don't really be spending that much on trees. I will buy something small in a minute and give it time to mature. And I think it's better anyway because it gets more adapted to my soil and its environment before it actually starts fruiting. And it don't spend that much time getting all that fertilizer shot to it. They have gooey berries at Rainey's Nursery for online for $35.99. Ooh. You know, I ain't looked at that place in forever because the last time I looked at there for some trees, it was so high. I was like, no, sir. Good night, backyard garden floor. Oh, Miss Shirley. Miss Shirley. Just talking to Miss Shirley. I'm gonna have to go look on there. I ain't looked on them in years because they used to be pretty reasonable, man. At the end, for the last 4 or 5 years, man, they've been outrageously sky high. So I ain't looked on there in forever. Oh, my pleasure. Alberta's a good peach. Alberta, Red Haven, and Bella, Georgia. It's awesome, good peach variety. Never tried the Florida King, but I see a lot of people growing them. I thought them were just made for Florida zone, where they don't have to have it much chill hours. I appreciate you coming to Analytic Gardener. You have a good night. I thought that was made for like Florida, where you didn't have to have it many chill hours. That's why I never even thought about buying them. I seen them here. For the last 2 or 3 years they've been selling them here, but I never thought about buying one because I thought it was made for Florida and it wouldn't do good here. That's what I thought. So I just because it was called Florida King, and I don't know how resistant it is to brown rot or leaf curl. Because that's the most common things we get here on peaches. Yeah, those percentages have gone up. Yeah, and the ones like they were small, man. They little small trees. I'm talking about like this. And they were 49, 52, $52. Little trees like this, bare root. That's how they come. It's like, good Lord, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I appreciate y'all coming by and listen to me rant and rave about fruit trees. It's one of my passions. Uh, one of my passions. Hope I encourage everybody to do their pruning and do their researches on their trees before they purchase any tree. whatever tree you want, if it's an apple, a pear, or a plum, something like that. Find out what type of diseases is common to that variety. I mean, to that, yeah, to that peach or pear, plum, whatever. Find out what diseases in your area is most common for that tree, and then try to find a variety that's resistant or semi-resistant to that disease. You'll have a lot easier time. You won't be pulling your hair out as much. For or pears, they say the Orient pear is one of the best ones you can get. I've still been looking for one of them too. Been I found a few, but I hadn't pulled a gun on them because just wasn't my situation. I mean, I'm not really buying no trees right now. But yeah, just do a little research. Stuff dies. I kill stuff all the time. I done kill more stuff than I done not can name, but I still grow stuff. I still keep trying. I never give up. It's my passion. I'm gonna keep doing it. If I kill 50 more trees, I'm just gonna buy 50 more to replace it. Cause it's just money in the bank. I love to see it grow. I love to taste the first fruit off of that. My hard work at deliciousness that can't be beat. But yeah, and I think if you're thinking about getting your first fruit tree, I think you should consider a fig because the fig is probably one of the trees that grows fast and you don't have as many issues as far as diseases and stuff like that. Most stuff don't leave a fig alone. And 9 times out of 10, you don't have to worry about it dying over the winter time. It might die back to the ground, but it's gonna come back. And each year it dies back, it comes back faster and it gives you fruit faster. So fig is and you can bring it in the house for 2 or 3 years, keep it pruned down, let it get a good base on it, get a strong base. Then try to prune it at that the beginning of that spring and see if it make it through that next winter. It might, then again it might not. I seen people have big fig trees that's 5 or 6 years old that they kept in the house for that long, and then they put them out there at the beginning of spring, and then that first winter come and it still dies back to a ground. So you never know. AOVO on the farms, Southern Illinois. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I appreciate y'all coming in, listening to me ranting and raving about my fruit trees. I hope I encourage somebody to do some pruning, somebody to buy a fruit tree that hadn't got none, or buy another fruit tree because it's not that difficult. Don't overthink the pruning. Prune it the way you want to prune it. Shape it the way you want to treat it and shape it. Just have fun. That's all it's about. Have fun. Enjoy yourself out there in the garden. Virginia fruit grower. Howie, thanks for coming. I got a plum tree that after I pruned it all, the branches died and left me with the stock root. It grew big and had millions of small, very sweet fruit. You know, some of the plums that was around when I was younger. Let's see, say we because I think most of y'all around my age or a little bit younger. You don't hardly see them varieties no more. It was a plum tree that my great aunt had, man. There was a real plumish looking leaves on it, like a plumish red looking leaves. I don't really see them kind of trees around here anymore. But it made the best plums, and they got nice sized plums. And they was real sweet. I'm talking about really sweet. You don't see that many that type of plums around anymore. I don't even know the name of it, but them plums was delicious. I was I was getting my jaws ready as I was listening. Tease it. Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go. I appreciate y'all coming out and listening to me rant and rave about my fruit trees. And like I always say, if God be for you, who could be against you? If God be with you, whom shall you fear? If no one knows you, still his heart adores you. You are safe, you are loved, you are healed. Yes, you are. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all have a happy weekend and enjoy y'all Martin Luther King. But we getting off for the second year in a row. So, I'm going to enjoy that little time off. Y'all stay blessed.